your mind, lost in.
I also don't. Are we? I'm not sure if we're recording the podcast because I'm like, oh, I don't know if these are juicy details I should save or like, or if we're in it, we're in it, and I'm ready. By the way, I don't know if there's
Yeah, that's
anything
fair.
we need to go over.
No,
But
there's something to go over. I mean, the only thing to go over is the fact that like everyone knows what we're dealing with is we're dealing with East Coasters right now. You know, we're not dealing with
from
like
East
little
Coasters.
East Coasters. We should just label this as like the East Coasters. You know, that's just like the name of the episode.
Oh, 100%. So going back to your question, I don't really
Yeah.
know if I'm a farm boy or a city boy. And maybe you can scan me, read my aura. So I grew up in New Hampshire near like a little farm in like suburbia. Like they would literally walk llamas
Oh
down my
damn,
street.
girl. Okay. All right.
But
New Hampshire.
come on, New Hampshire, never
All
go back.
right.
I like live free or die. I'll choose die.
Yeah, for sure. Especially on those
But
highways. Yeah.
oh yeah. And but my mom and dad are both born and raised like Brooklyn, Staten Island. So like we were going to the city a lot when I was a kid, which it kind of makes sense. Like once I left college from New Hampshire, like it made sense to just like head to the city. I consider myself a Brooklyn boy, but I can't even claim that anymore because I was in Brooklyn in like the Bushwick gay scene for like 5 years. And then I recently moved back to suburbia in a twist of events. And now I'm in Stamford, Connecticut. And the long story summarized is
You
my
sold your
boyfriend.
soul to the devil, but yeah, go on.
You've done your research.
Mhm.
So my boyfriend has grown up in Stamford, and his parents left him his childhood home to move to Disney World because they are full Disney adults. Go Disney. And so
Living for it.
I moved up here. The twist is it's a haunted Disney home. I have already been starting to figure out how can I profit off of this because I cannot tell you how terrified I am to lock eyes with the giant stuffed Mickey in the basement. Like this whole place is on a vortex of something, and I've made contact. Let me tell you.
Bro, it feels like I'm watching, you know, like when you watch like a South Park or Family Guy episode and Peter is like, "Ooh, what's in this house? It looks cute and friendly," you know, and like this horrifying like Mickey zombie just like, "I will eat the children. All the
Dude,
children. All of them." And like Peter's just like, "Hey, I'm Peter. How are you? What's going on? What's up?" You know, it's like, bro, this thing's gonna eat you right now, man. Like, what the fuck you doing? Get the hell out. But no,
I
you're
know. I'm
living
like,
in there.
where's my Mickey, the Disney pass that Brian's mom gave me? Because that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like is my only saving grace of like keeping me safe at this point.
You need to
Like,
get like good at like actually like Walt Disney World and get like a little Mickey plushie and turn it into a voodoo doll, you know? So like when it comes after you, like, I'm gonna poke you, motherfucker. Okay, I'm
oh,
gonna
okay,
put the
so you're in the
pin
dark arts. I'm
a
here
little.
thinking like I need to go get baptized in like one of the like
Oh no, no,
coin
no, no, no.
pools of
That fucking shit doesn't work. Come on, bro. Come on,
No,
bro.
you don't think Daffy Duck like blessing me will like give me one more year? Okay,
Bro,
it's
it
not Daffy Duck. Can we actually like register like where's the hierarchy on the spiritual realm of Disney? Like who's Pope? I mean, I guess it would be Mickey, but I also don't feel like Mickey. I think he's a puppet. I think there's other people in the scene.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think if you can think of any character in Disney and you don't think it is cynical, it's probably Pluto.
Oh, I can totally see that lore. Like
Because
he plays dumb, but then you get to the final round. Like
have you
no,
seen some of the Pluto cartoons? He's not a dumb dog. He only acts dumb when Goofy and Daisy and
I'm getting
Donald and
goosebumps.
Mickey are around. He acts stupid. But when he's just himself, he's just like this super complicated, sophisticated dog. And you're just like,
And you want to know who he's having an affair with? Clarabelle, who, by the way,
oh my God.
I've never seen dance moves like Clarabelle. That girl could outvogue Beyonce, and I've seen it.
Great. Hidden it for 76 years, girl. Come on. Come on.
She
Come
can
on.
take my soul. She can take my soul. Yeah, so this is funny that you've just like fully dived in with me here because I have no one to talk about this stuff. No one believes me. But
The thing about Disney is to understand, and look, we're both artists. People like to label like Walt Disney. Let's be honest, Walt Disney was a nutcracker. So was Michael Jackson. Like, think about it.
mm,
Walt Disney was a grown adult that was obsessed with children. So obsessed with children that like he spent all of his time, but yet he was an alcoholic and he also smoked like nobody's business. So he was a really fucked up individual, but hey, he made really great art. He was very creative, he was very intelligent. That's the thing about artists. It's like we have fucked up brains, and you want to label us racist or prejudice or like we've got issues or problems. Sure, but it's just a way of thinking. Like when you talk about that, it's like that's the first thing that comes to my head. I'm like, hmm. Superior Disney character. Like I'm like connecting with you because like again, I feel artists. I'm not trying to like separate people, but there is that level of understanding that needs to be there.
oh yeah. I mean, the last two brain cells I have just has recently been thinking. So also to go back to this random Disney home, I mean,
Oh yeah, sure.
it's quite interesting, the subtlety. Like, you'll go into the dining room and you'll look at the chandelier and be like, "Why? Oh, those are Mickey ears." Like, it's definitely scattered, but I'm telling you, you could find at least 50 to 100 Mickey items for each room.
I don't know.
But
I hear a TikTok series with Gregory Dillon music playing in the background.
I think we need to do this. And just I don't know if I also here's the thing. If I've been telling Brian, my boyfriend, like, we gotta, like, I don't know, have an Airbnb one time and just see if the Disney gays want to stay at a Disney
Uh,
haunted home. But then I'm also like, what if they show up and it doesn't happen? Like, do you try to provoke? Do I like lay down some extra? Do I sacrifice like a frozen DVD, like to really turn up the heat? I don't know.
well, it all depends on like the people that you're going to be bringing into. Again,
Here
see,
I was trying to save myself, and now I'm like, how do we make things worse?
I can tell you as a person that like I've specifically like this is going in a completely different direction, but like even with shrooms, when taking mushrooms, one of the first things that I've like contemplated is it's my experience. People are like, oh my god, I saw this. That I don't care. I care about my experience, the way I enjoyed with my friends, and what I did and what I learned from it. So it's kind of the same thing like what you're doing. If you create that Airbnb experience, like even if somebody doesn't
So you're saying they need to all be on shrooms,
know what I'm
which
well,
I kind of think is
yeah, that
actually
would be a
maybe a
great
missing
idea
ingredient.
too. But what I'm trying to say is that having this expectation of there has to be something, there must be something.
Oh, I see the point. I got you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
you really
don't.
can't force that. That has to be
No,
for
you
them.
can't.
Okay, so as long as there's, I guess, that disclaimer, asterisk like point 0.4 font, we're good.
Yeah, I
Speaking
mean,
of
mhm.
shrooms, I actually have been really into psilocybin lately. Um, I haven't done it too many times, and I've always waited to kind of like do it alone in the woods. And I yesterday did it
Smart.
and had such a crazy experience. I mean, I'm sure from what I talked to a lot of people, like it's both very spiritual. Sometimes it's a very I don't want to say it's traumatizing, but it can bring up a lot of trauma. It always
Mhm.
in like for so far the few times that it's done it, it's like it's a lot of emotion, but for the best because I probably have buried that shit. But yeah, it's interesting because I've probably done it 3 times, and this last time I think I took a little bit more than the others, and I ended up having I was trying to tell my friend right before this call, like, I still don't exactly know how to describe it because I wasn't hallucinating visually, but I was in a, like, a pretend-esque way, like, I remember when I was a kid and I had
So
imaginary friends.
it's called the observer's scope. I was in that particular high. It's where This is how it was explained to me. It's where your subconscious, your conscience, and the cerebral cortex, there's like literally like a needle and thread. Something goes through all of those, sews and tight and like kind of ties them. And what happens is like your sound and sight become one. So what you hear and see like are on the same frequency
That's so wild.
almost. Yeah.
So I
Am I tapping in to what you're
yes, and
talking
I
about?
have
Yeah. I
literally
had
not been able
this
to
past
talk to
Saturday.
anyone about this because this was my first time kind of experiencing this on that level, and I kind of felt like not only was like sight and sound tied in together, but like creative flow and also
Mm-hmm.
spiritual flow. They were all, right in that wave. And I had just dropped a track yesterday called James Dean.
It's
And
amazing. It makes me want to fucking slam down a few sausages. He was
do it
a
in a
hottie,
convertible
dude.
and oh my
Dude, he
god,
was
dude.
I'm telling you, I'm sorry, just going off subject for a second. If I could go back to the 1950s for one thing and one thing only,
James Dean
fuck Rod
sausage.
Hudson, blow Elvis Presley, and honey, drip on James Dean. Just
Drip
drip.
on James
Drip.
Dean.
Come on. Come on. It's a gay man stream. For me.
I know, just don't mess up his hair. Like, I think he seems like he'd be a little picky.
No. I know.
I also love your three. I feel like I'm trying to think who my three would be. I'll cut back to that. But for a long time, it's always I also oh my god, just there's something so untouchable. Maybe the romantic side of him just seems so like I don't even know what I would do with him. I just would want to like us to
He
cry
was
in
a
each other's
man.
arms. I
That's what
know.
he was such a, that's what I look for. And that's like something I've been struggling for. Is like, all I want is just a man, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? It's so hard to explain, but best way now is like, I don't know, like James Dean. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, I think he's running around in the woods at funny enough, the park is called My Anus Park. I don't know who named
Oh, I
it.
love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Can we get like a little like line in between my and anus? Instead
I'm
of being
working
in one
so
word.
hard on that Google feedback on the maps
Please,
because I agree.
please.
So he's running around there, and so I'm throwing sticks in the river. This is kind of like at the peak of my experience, and I'm kind of like naming things I'm trying to let go of and attaching it to this stick. And then once it feels right, I'm tossing it into the river. And I'm doing this for like other people too that I know are close to me, that I know what they're going through. It was kind of just like a
So this
series
is
of
like
like
during your trip that you were alone in the woods. Okay.
throwing the sticks in. And it made sense. I feel like I just like really with this song, I to also go on a tangent, I had kind of suffered some crazy loss recently, and I wasn't planning on that, but the song James Dean is about loss. So and this happens sometimes. You make music for one meaning, and then when it comes time to releasing, there's a new meaning around it. And so this is what really pushed me to go into the woods instead of being on my phone for the release, like which I normally am. I felt like I have to let go of a lot of control here with this release and just do my thing. So I'm in the woods and I'm in the river and I'm throwing these sticks in and I'm having like a little like Oscar speech for each one. And then I kind
I
of
hear Morgan
turn.
Freeman narrating in the background.
I know, dude. It was 100% that. I was in a tuxedo and yeah.
Everything.
So I turn, and this is where I'm really noticing like whatever term you said. What was it called again? Where things are on the same wavelength.
Oh, it's called the Observer Scope. This is based on a book I read by a scientist that studied psilocybin.
This is exactly how what you described felt like for me. I'm turning and I'm witnessing slash in my mind experiencing James Dean, and he came for maybe 15-20 seconds, and he was taunting me to throw in a stick without giving it any meaning. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm literally having a full conversation. If someone were to walk in the woods, I would look like I'm hallucinating. And I'm like, no, I'm not throwing the stick in. And he was daring me to do it. He's like, do it. And I thought that was kind of hot. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it. I throw in the stick. And then he's basically like come on, we got to run after the stick with the river. But all my stuff was there. So there was just one side of me that was like, Greg, don't start running through the woods without your things. So I watched this James Dean, like, ghostly, I don't know, thing, like just kind of followed the stick like happily as it turns, and then it was gone. And this lasted maybe 15 seconds, but it was eerie as hell. I was like, I still to like, I'm trying to figure out, like, was that a presence, a ghost? Was that like just my mind just going with the flow? Maybe it's like a combo. I mean, the thing about the shrooms is it's like all of that feels so possible. So I don't know if you have any, like, is there any kind of metaphoric meaning?
Well, I did want to throw this. I don't know. Sorry, I just had to throw this in, guys and goyles. Do you remember Rick and Morty, where Rick says to Morty, "Gotta shove it up, reel up your ass, Morty. Gotta shove it real up. Gotta dig deep, Morty. Gotta shove it up real dig." I don't know why. Whenever you tell me about that stick and that fucking, I was just like thinking about it, and I was just like, "Whoa, oh my god!" But that's kind of like how you kind of feel, you know? It's like, I have to shove it up. Yes, you have to shove it up.
I really wait. I'm assuming that you must be doing some also like character voiceover work in your free time, because you have
No,
given me a close Morty and Rick and a really good Peter Griffin. By the way, that's exactly how it felt, and maybe it's because I've been also watching Rick and Morty. Maybe that's
well,
really the reason.
I'll be honest with you. The way I explain it to people is, I grew up having a pretty troubled childhood and not a completely structural and functional home.
Our
So
Hey Arnold shirt has already said enough about
yeah, yeah.
that. Just kidding. Keep going.
No, for sure. I loved A. Arnold as a kid, and I remember, like, as a teenager watching Friends for the first time, and I just started. I'm still very much an introvert, and based on like that, and I like very emulated like Chandler, and in many ways, it's kind of what my personality is. I'm very sarcastic. I make a lot of inappropriate jokes. I say fuck a lot, especially around mixed company and kids. Sorry. I guess it's a coping mechanism, but it makes me happy, it makes other people happy, and hey.
I like that. I wonder if it really is a coping mechanism. Well, I guess it could be. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
this this whole woods trip taught me like what layers of control are you putting on yourself? I'm kind of similar. I would say I probably most people think I'm 100% extrovert, and I am definitely not. Like, I'm actually
You're an
opposite.
introvert.
It's 100% like a
I can,
mask.
bro. I could tell by the what you're wearing right now. Well, you could tell by me that we're both introverts. Like, we're wearing clothes that are comfy and cuddly, so we can sit down and be in our space. Where you could clearly tell that this is your space. You
Oh,
know,
you're
like
so
I
sweet.
like. What is the number one? Okay, let's be honest. What is the number one thing about extroverts? When you go to their house, it looks like they've never lived there.
Oh, true that. And you can't find their Pokemon cards. Like, that
Never.
is not on display
Exactly. Never.
because they're worried. They're very worried someone like me is going to take them, which I don't know if this has anything to do with being an extrovert or introvert.
No, no, no.
Or
But like,
maybe
I'm
just
just
being
saying. I'm saying from my own personal view, from what I've seen, and primarily because a lot of the extroverts, they're doing jobs that they work a lot of hours, or they're home for a very short time. They're always traveling or whatever. People that are generally, I feel from my experience, talking from myself, people that are introverts, when you come to their home, you're like, oh, it's kind of cool, because this is where I live. This is where I spend a
Oh,
lot
I
of
get
my
you. I get
time,
you. Hmm.
you
Yeah,
know?
that does make sense because, like, if you're an introverted person, like, like everything that grounds you is the most important, right?
You want
So,
more bounded. You want like a home, and people could be a mixture. People can be introvert and extrovert. I'm extrovert with marijuana. There's a little difference. Without this shit, I'm like the
I
my
love
cat.
that. I used to be very much like that in college. I went to like a 420 hippie stoner school all
Oh, I love
the
that.
way. Oh, back in the day. I mean, right now, I feel like being up in Stamford, living in a haunted Disney home. Oh, the other thing too is half the year I live with my boyfriend's parents. Like it's a comedy show up here, and very much so. I can't really be doing much because they don't know that I smoke. Like that to them would blow their mind that I smoke weed or do shrooms.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but they're so
Oh,
sweet. They're very sweet. They're not traditional, but I just also feel like um different generations see it differently. But yeah, so my tolerance is so low. So whenever I'm like back, I pretty much go to the city every weekend. But that's like my time and place where I'm just getting completely unhinged.
it's the
Hey,
purge.
Arnold, move it, football head. That's me on my way to Brooklyn.
I lived in Brooklyn for a few years myself. It is it it smells like cat piss and homeless
Yeah,
people.
the dream you think is funny enough, Hey Arnold, like that's speaking of dream rooms, Hey Arnold's room and that like sunlit balcony with the couch that flips into the wall and the skylight. I'm trying to think of other features. I mean, it's just that's the dream as far as like a Brooklyn little loft goes. And that is not what you get for $1,200 a month.
No, no, unfortunately not. But the thing that I really loved was, and it's sad and it's beautiful and it's sweet. The artistry, like especially the young artist community out there, a lot of it is riddled with crime, and it's very dirty. But there's a lot of really fantastic artists and creators that come out of it that you're just like, whoa, just
What
blown away.
when you mention crime, are you pointing fingers at me for stealing Pokemon cards?
No, 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 not
Okay,
not
good.
not that particular. Maybe other
I'm
crimes.
guilty.
Oh, for sure, honey.
I'm actually ready to
Put
repent.
me in a little pink pom pom, handcuffs, glitter me to the wall. Ah,
You're such a jigglypuff. I love it. There is an amazing scene. It really, I mean, if I'm to say one like artistic thing about my life on this podcast, I would say moving out of Brooklyn was one of the most depressing things, especially trying to be like a pop artist in the scene. You're so surrounded in Brooklyn, and leaving to like dead end suburbia was really tough for me. One, I already kind of struggle with like I'm sure a lot of people do that feeling of loneliness, and then that really got so emphasized up here. And my first EP while I was in Brooklyn was really actually romanticizing what I remember of suburbia and nostalgia that came with, you know, that non-city life. And so then I was here realizing, oh my gosh, like this is not what I imagined. And I really went through a very, very dark period of time where I just felt so alone up here. And interestingly enough, I mean, looking back, I guess it's been the most important thing because I have something really like a fire now to kind of artistically break the mold out here. I feel a lot more. Funny enough, I feel a lot more extroverted being up here because I almost don't feel any other queer or artistic, fires out here. So I'm strapping on like gargoyle wings and going to the store just for the hell of, stirring up looks and trouble. And
here's the
yeah,
thing. Here's the thing about, and something that I've come to terms is we're all different. We're all Some of us are white, some of us are black, some of us are Asian, some of us are gay, some of us are trans. The thing when you get out of city, like I live out here in Fort Lauderdale, okay? Majority of the community out here is Caribbean. It's like, and the people that I work with is just such a mix from like I can't even name any, that you get accustomed to all types of people, that you feel included because everyone's included, because everyone's different, and it doesn't really matter, you know? And you're right. You become more extroverted. You feel more comfortable being more open and having more experiences because like you get to be yourself and nobody really gives a shit.
Yeah, it's something I guess I kinda took for granted for so many years in New York, and I'm so appreciative I got to experience that. I kind of realize now that up here, there's such a like, an open space to, I guess, start that for other people. I think that's really become, like, a huge part of this upcoming project is a feeling of creating, I don't know, like a shared identity that other kids that are navigating suburbia or not like that city dream feel. Um, just I don't know. It made me really recognize how many other queer kids are just not in that diverse mix, and I have to feel like there's a lot.
I think also the other issue we have to face is like now with even with the newer generations, this idea of becoming famous. You know, this idea of getting to the top, you know, and becoming a YouTube star or whatever, but not taking into account the amount of work that needs to go in, not just to be famous, but to be a successful podcaster, musician, songwriter, instrumentalist. It, it you know, as ACDC puts it, there's a long road to the top of rock and roll, and it's true. It's but it's been shortened to
Mm,
this idea like, okay, in 1 minute video clip, yeah, you could do this, da da da, just follow me. I'll teach you. Come with me. I'm not the
yeah,
devil, I promise. I promise I'm not the devil.
I'm definitely struggling with that side of the world, and it was interesting yesterday coming back off my, disconnect in the woods and to, like, look at my phone on shrooms was like this it was like looking at a vortex,
I
like
didn't touch it for like 8 hours. I
yeah,
couldn't.
I just don't know how good it is for me to be looking at that every day. I mean, wow, I sound like such a mom, but, like, it really is a toxic thing.
Soccer mommy, please.
Yeah, no, I'm quite struggling still with, social media is one thing, and now I feel like not too many people, I feel like, are aware of Spotify and how little they pay artists, but, I mean, you wanna make $4,000 on Spotify, which I wouldn't think is actually that much money. You need a lot more than that to make it through the year. You need 1,000,000 streams on a song to make $4,000, and for an artist, like, again, I can only speak from personal experience, and I'm doing really well, but I only have, like, 5 tracks that have, hit over 1,000,000 streams, and that's taken 4 years. It's like, I don't really understand how, like, I don't know how to keep going in as a musician, and that's the thing is, like, you gotta kinda figure out so many different ways of making money when you're creative, and I guess that's probably always been, like, a very timeless struggle, but
Mhm.
nowadays, it's like, I don't think anyone can really take a break, and that's so sad.
It is. It is really, and you bring up an excellent point. Like especially with streaming, there's a lot of benefits, but particular on even on the artist side. Like for example, with podcasting, I used to use Spotify to upload the podcast. The problem is that they own the right to my podcast. So I had to delete. This is what happened a couple of months ago. I had to delete the podcast, upload it to a new host. We transferred everything over,
Oy
and
vey.
it like costs me now double the money. But the thing is that it's so important being able to have the rights and royalties and collections and availability and funds as an independent musician to be successful. Because if you don't have those things at hand and available to you, how are you supposed to survive?
I'll tell you this, I don't know the difference between a wrench and a screwdriver. I don't know if you saw that South Park episode where everyone, like all the
Mm-hmm.
um people who are in like plumbing and electricity, like they become the kings of the world because like no one else actually really knows how to like do any
Fix
of
anything?
that.
Yeah.
That's 100% me. Like you bring me into Home Depot, the only thing I know is the carabiner section. I'm like, oh, that's cute. But everything else won't survive. Will not survive an apocalypse. Will not survive having to retile a house. I couldn't even
You
put
know.
in a bidet.
Okay, you know something? You'd be surprised. They always say that the ones that are like the survival and the fittest will survive the apocalypse. But I do believe some of us do survive that are not as well equipped.
I'm
And we're
trying to
just
think. I could see you surviving well. I feel like you would be great at negotiating. I feel like you would be the first to sell like your parents' jewelry like right away. Apocalypse happens. I also feel like you have maybe a bike, which is really important, I think, over a car. Every time I watch any kind of apocalyptic thing, I get so anxious when I
I
see
mean
the traffic.
I have a Ford Mustang, so
No way.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that's not gonna make it very far,
No,
honey.
no, not really. Absolutely not. I'm not very well equipped or prepared either for the apocalypse.
I don't even know what my game plan is. I used to in college have like that core group. I knew like 3 people who were survivalists, so they would still stay in my group, but I don't know where they are. I'm not gonna find them. I guess my boyfriend is very savvy. I feel like he would be good. And I'm trying to think of
I
what
love like this moment right now where we're like planning for the apocalypse. You know, I mean, it's not so far from like the truth. You know, it could happen.
what would you bring? Would there be any sentimental thing that you would carry that could I feel like you just have to I guess this is a good part of like the whole letting go. You don't bring anything, right? Except for like
There would be one thing that I would bring, and that's my cat Twix.
Twix. Where's Twix right now? It's like it's already out the door. It's like apocalypse. You're looking for him. He's
Hold
already
on,
left you.
hold on. No, I can send you a picture. Give me a sec. Just have to open up your Instagram. So, to everybody knows who Twix is. Twix is my cat. She is a calico tuxedo. She is very, very fluffy and very, very noisy. But by the way, getting back to your
Thank
point that
you.
we were speaking about earlier, it's it's an interesting thought because like I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. Imagine if every single human being on the planet at once just had one dose of mushrooms.
Portobello.
No, 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 not Portobello. Probably the
Just kidding.
Poblano, not Poblano. I mean, it's just a shiitake, or I don't know. Isn't that cute? Is she adorable?
The colors on that cat. Sorry, go back. That by the way, if no one's seen the cat. It's gorgeous. 10 out of
She.
10.
Oh, thank you. So, if you had every single person take that dose, what would the world look like after that dose? I think the world would look a lot different than it does now.
Mm.
The the idea is we're so used to being in our head, we've stopped being able to be outside of our head. You know, the thing that makes us, I guess, people, or us as like an individual, is observance. We observe, learn, make mistakes, learn from that, observe, and go from there.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, it's that simple but very effective metaphor of like we sometimes are so focused on the wave that we forget we're a part of the ocean. And I think that was one of the reasons why I really have always enjoyed the psilocybin trips is I'm normally so focused in on my life, like to the point it's ridiculous. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing big picture on like such a huge scale. Like I'm truly seeing the universe as like one big thing, and like how can you feel concerned about like how a song does on Spotify when you're completely like your feet are literally in the soil and you're rolling around being like, wow, I'm a tree, I'm the earth. I agree. I 100% would recommend it to anyone. I've been really, the reason I really got into it is my mom had a really bad, she's always suffered from depression, but it got really, really, really bad
I'm
last year.
sorry.
Oh, it's, she's doing better, but it was a really scary part for my life, because you just don't want to watch your parent like go through something like that on such a crazy scale. And unfortunately, like there's been times where she needed to be hospitalized, and I hope she's okay with me talking about this, but I think she would understand it's for the better purpose of mental health, and that's something that she
It
actually is really like a huge advocate for. But I've been uh, talking with her last year up until now about, she feels herself has been on so many medications and she really wants to try like other things like this. And that's what got me into is like, well, I'll try it for us and see how it does because I suffer from anxiety and depression. And yeah, I'm really hoping that she'll be able to at some point because I think it would be really, really helpful for her. And she's starting to, really trying to get off of all these medications. And yeah, I agree. I think psilocybin is a huge like potential for people.
Yeah, it is.
I have
I'm
no
so
data to back it up,
no.
but
Well,
trust me, trust me.
well, that's the thing is, as they stop this ridiculous drug act and allow more research to develop, which there has been, like for example with MDMA, there will be more advancements and more look into the unique dosages and different properties and ways of how patients and people can use it. But I mean, it, the thing is like I can relate really well because my dad, he passed away from COVID during the first wave in 2020. And my mom, she suffers from like spinal nerve damage. She had two knee surgeries and then she had opiate dependency. And then from there, it led to fibromyalgia. So now she's having mobility issues. So I help her out. And she's also like been trying to cut down her medications. She's been severely depressed, and you're right. It's really hard to watch the people you care about, especially your parents, suffer. And I introduced her to cannabis. It helps her sleep. So she likes edibles. We're
Thank
trying
you
to
for
figure out.
sharing, dude. We went full in on the silly
Oh my god!
goofy, and we've just
Yeah.
like 180 to like let's just go in on the drama. But thank you for sharing. Yeah, it is really, really, really like it is a core fear. I feel like for a lot of us at any point of time because it's inevitable. That's something that I've kind of like learned. Like it truly loss is inevitable. But yet I think it's so terrifying that we like the things you do to control your life to avoid that fear. It's also not really uh, great. It has a lot of like adverse effects, like trying to control all of these fears that you got.
Well,
I'm
the thing.
glad that she's on the cannabis, dude. I feel like
Oh, she loves it.
my
She
dad
loves
got
it.
back into it. Oh my god! Thanksgiving we have this like ping pong tournament every year at my aunt Erica's lake house where we all do gummies, and then I've yet to get even close to the finals. Like these old people, you would think like they're gonna like oh start tripping and like can barely hold the paddle. No, they become like Olympic ping pong paddler experts. And Aunt Erica versus my dad is like it's insane. They literally are doing like matrix flips off of the wall. And
It's elderly superpowers. Ba-ba-ba.
yeah, do you think
Weed.
What do you think you'll when you're older? What do you think you're like? Do you think you'll be the same person? I guess they always say you get more wise.
I hope I'm the same person. Like because the thing is, I have tattoos. Okay, I think you have tattoos as well. You
I
do.
I don't only
You don't.
stick-ons. I have 100 stick-on tattoos that on my body at any given point.
Okay, so quick little thing. So I was raised Orthodox, and we were, you can't get tattoos and
Yeah,
whatever.
you won't be
So,
buried.
it's actually not 100% true, but when I was getting mine, I constantly was thinking of like, well, what happens is like when I'm 75 and I still have these on my body, and pretty much every single tattoo that I have on my body, I I genuinely believe that I will be okay with when I'm 75 years old.
What do we have?
Um,
Wait, is that a Lilo and Stitch?
yeah, it's
Disney?
I have two Disney
Ohana
tattoos,
means family.
and family means no, listen, hi. There's this
Yeah,
one.
I'm like waiting for the giant Mickey tattoo that as I talked so much shit on earlier. Okay, the minivan,
Well, that's a memorial tattoo for my dad. That's his
love that.
and that's a B for Manchester and yin and yang. Friday the 13th tattoo, and then
Love it.
that's
The new A24 series is coming out.
and that's
And
Twix.
Twix. That might be my favorite because of the coloring. It looks super 80s. That red on like turquoise.
Well,
That's hot.
so her name is because I was really stoned. I was with friends and I got pissed because we were trying to name her, and I was eating a Twix bar, and I was like, "Fuck this." Her name's Twix, and they're like, "It's not girly enough." I'm like, "I don't care. Her name's Twix." So that's how she was named.
I'm obsessed. Yeah, I got none. I got nothing to show you except for I tend to always do a ton of face tattoos, like stick on. And then I'll always lie about that they're real. And then I love doing like a little, right now I'm into like gargoyle wings. So I always try to find some gargoyle and put it on my neck.
Can you imagine if like Post Malone would have just done stick-ons instead of permanent? Like the dude could have had like a new look every single like concert. It would have been fantastic.
It's funny because the first batch of stick-ons were the Post Malone, like on Amazon Prime. It's like the first one that comes up. And so I was wearing those. And I agree. I mean, I've gotten in arguments with friends who have tats, and I get their point. Like, there is something so much more badass about commitment to that kind of stuff. But I am a loose piece of fabric, baby. Like, I can't have that. I need to change it up. I will, the ADHD in me would just hate having the same thing for a lifetime. So I'm happy with my stick-ons. I think I just need ones that stay longer because like I would be really
Mm-hmm.
down for like give me a 6-monther or like a 1 year. And there are these like made to fade tattoos, but I think they're getting sued now for them like not fading. So I'm kind of glad I didn't jump into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I kind of made a deal with myself. So since I've been 19 until I'm 30, I get at least one tattoo a year. So
Oh, I like that.
yeah, so pretty much I have one, two, I have seven.
Do you want a really disgusting would you rather?
What?
Okay, so this is something I remember getting asked in college
Oh
once at
boy.
like
I feel like I'm in like
a
one of those game shows right now where we're gonna be like, or God.
or you eat a bag of Skittles. What do you do?
Oh, I'll do that. Okay. Can I have the Skittles, please?
Yes. So this was at a drunk frat party, and some guy came up to me, like some chatterbrad, and he was like, "Would you rather get a tattoo on your dick while you were hard or while you were soft?" And I really, still to this day, don't exactly know what my answer is because there really is two implications. Like, I guess I'll leave it up to you if you want to answer that. This may not also be appropriate for your podcast, and we can cancel this part out.
Oh no. This is totally appropriate for this podcast. I was again, it's like it's like in the cartoon when you get hit with the anvil. It's like, and you like wave the white flag, like that moment. Okay, so I'll explain. Do you want to give your answer first, or I can?
I think after many years of getting to ponder this, I really do feel like it would be better to have it while you're hard, because that's the place and time for me that I feel like my dick is most likely going to be observed by someone else. So that's my answer. But I also think about the here's the thing, it's the contraction of the artwork. Have you ever like used like drawn on a rubber band and stretched it out? Like it totally changes depending on like how stretched it is. So at the same time, I think it's going to be like let's say I had to get a face. That face is going to like look so shriveled up
There's
90% of
also
the time.
there's also another problem to contemplate. Okay, and this is my issue: is first off, I don't know if I can hold my dick that hard for that long. That's
Oh
one.
yeah, that's the tough part of this. Is you're exactly where I've been in these
Oh my
contemplations.
god, this is such a because like imagine if you're hard and then you get soft while they're doing the tattoo.
How can you not? Like not only for the pain, but like performance anxiety alone. Like do you then have to choose someone you're attracted to? Like does this have to be part of like almost like your sexual hookup?
Oh
Because
my god,
or are you taking Viagra?
just imagine the handsome Squidward masks they would have to wear just to get the ejaculation, like just just a little something.
I feel like 99% of us are not going to be able to get it done while hard. There's just I think very little capabilities unless you're
You know,
taking something for it.
I think this is a great example as to why there are certain parts of our bodies, for me, that I wouldn't get tattooed. One of those would be that specific area, and face tattoos.
I thought you were going to
That's
say whole, but yeah, that too.
no, that's like really fucking permanent. You know what I mean, bro? Like when you're 75 or 85, like that's still gonna be on there unless you get it lasered or something. But
Yeah, I wonder if that will be something. I mean,
because
oh,
sorry to interrupt you, like
no, go.
keep with tribes, especially like in Polynesian regions, they take face tattoos very seriously.
Mm,
Very seriously. Like they're
sacred.
very sacred. And you think about that, okay. Oh, bro, like you said, it's fucking permanent. It's not coming out. It's not coming out with scotch.
You never know technology. You
You
never
don't
know
know.
what they'll sell on Amazon for $20 on Amazon Prime, like some kind of like tattoo removal.
$28.99. Keep him on the tax and the shipping if
There
you're
we
not a
go. There we
Prime
go.
member.
You know what? I'll maybe go down the Etsy route. I feel like I'll trust a
More
homemaker more.
boosh, girl. We need more boosh. Okay. And it's like hilarious. It's like the one that has like the chisel, the gold shim.
I didn't follow that. Wait, going back to Etsy, what's gold? What's chiseled? You got me at chiseled.
You ever when you're ever on Etsy, do you ever notice that like the photographs they all kind of have this like motif? It's like mod, like the simple
Yes.
plate, and it's
My we
it's
should switch accounts
bouge.
because I would rather have Bouge. You don't want to know what I I looked into this sculptor who makes these disgusting looking creature babies that are drooling and like have webbed feet and they're like in almost sexual poses, and I just clicked on it one time to send a link to my sister and my stepmom, and ever since that is like the first like full page of Etsy are these sexual goblin creatures. So I'm on a different algorithm with Etsy. And the other Etsy story I have is so I ordered what I thought at the time of getting my Brooklyn apartment. Like so I was on the hunt for Ames chairs. I had just watched Mad Men. I was like down in 1960s furniture, like sexcapade, and I just needed some Ames chairs. And they were expensive on Amazon. And expensive on eBay, and I don't know what got me to Google Etsy, but I found a pair. $14.99 for 2 chairs, which was such a crazy price drop because everywhere else was like $60 a chair. So I ordered these
Bed bugs.
immediately. I get a package like 2 weeks later that is really like it's a small box, and I didn't really order anything small, and I didn't know what to do. I open it up, dude, and it's these tiny miniature doll chairs for like Ames for like I don't even know, a dollhouse. I was shook, so shooketh. And I went back to the listing. I honestly was a complete idiot. Well, actually, I think I was scammed in a bit because she had posed these chairs. I'm holding them up for anyone who's listening. They're like, I don't know, I guess what, like 3 inches tall? But she didn't,
You could fit an adult person in them.
yeah, one. You would need like 80 of those for one shoot. But
yeah.
I looked back at the listing and she really didn't put like any photos with perspective. Like they were always on a full table with no like a full crop in, so that you could have kind of looked real. The only giveaway is it said mini mid-century, but at the time when I read it, I thought like slightly mid-century. So I still have these chairs. So my Etsy account is doll furniture and sex goblins.
Oh god, you're not alone. My mom had something where she ordered. Oh god, I remember it. My mom ordered rollers, like
Hair
hot
rollers?
hair rollers. They were doll hair rollers.
I really hope she tried to do just like her one hair from her
No,
bang.
I
Just like
looked at it, Mom. I'm like, did you look at the description? And she's like, no. I'm like, what about the photos? She's like, what, the photos look real? I'm like,
it's like a Barbie, like it's in the Barbie's hair. And
yeah,
she's like, oh, this
kind of,
will look great for
one of
me.
those. Oh my god, it's nuts.
'Tis the season to be spoofed. I mean, there's so many things that you have to buy if you celebrate Christmas or holidays, and it's like you're bound to get scammed. You're just so bound.
Or you can be the asshole that just gives out manila envelopes to everybody, and it's a picture that has the item that they were going to buy, and like in big letters it says, "This is what I could have bought you, but instead."
I printed a photo. Not on my watch.
Oh god.
Not on my watch.
Just imagine that, like, just list of 100 manila envelopes just to everybody, you know? That guy, or bro, I don't want to be
Bro,
around him New Year's. I don't want to
should
be.
we do that, bro? I really feel like
Oh my god.
so funny enough, my boyfriend is really cute. If the thing doesn't arrive in time, he prints out a picture. But I feel like this is one step further. Like you're not getting the item. Like, do you also like is it something basic and simple that you could have bought, or are like we printing out a photo of a boat? Like obvious you're not getting this, or is it like a photo of like an umbrella? Like
Oh, dude, speaking of boats, it could be like a picture of like a Lego or like a little child boat, but you know, you kind of like photo shop it and shit. You know, thinking it's like, all right, well, can I have at least the boat? It's like, sure. And you like just take out this like fucking fake plastic boat, and it's like, what?
I'm so here for that because I
Oh my
haven't
god,
finished
this
my
is
gift
so
ordering.
in detail. You know what I mean? Like the complexity of this crime is just. It's
What I like
devastating.
about it is it separates. I don't get enough of April Fools. I went too hard honestly in college to the point where I
Oh
had
my
to take a
god.
step back. But this
Oh boy.
feels like it's kind of like you're spreading it out a little bit
Did you
on a
fake
time no
your
one's
own?
expecting
Wait a
it.
minute. Did you fake your own death on April Fools?
I did something way worse in my opinion that would totally get me canceled if I talk about it.
Oh shit. Okay, never
But
mind.
I feel
All right,
like
we're gonna have an Oprah Winfrey moment. Crew, delete this clip. I demand. I own this network. Okay, I had my Oprah moment.
okay,
But
so do we talk about it?
no, we don't have to talk about it if you don't
I
want
can
to.
tell you some other pranks that I've pulled that are not
Okay.
cancelable, but also horrible. Like I've traumatized certain friends.
Are you gonna traumatize me in the?
Yeah, actually, there's a manila envelope on your desk if you wanna open that up. Just
Okay.
take a look under So, one time, dude,
Yes.
I got so my roommate, her name was Netta. I love you, Netta, she just had a kid, and, so she was always a really clean, put together girl. And I got some giant granny panties from a Goodwill, and I smeared these things with mustard and chocolate and like peanut butter, and I like soiled them up and I put them on her laundry, knowing the day that she was doing laundry right on April Fools, and like kind of followed her from a distance. And this girl, like,
God.
I can tell,
Oh
blood
no.
curdling makes like sense to me when I think about this moment, the scream that she gave. She I think she puked later on, like went into like I remember her being so upset, and it wasn't until like a couple of days later I had the balls to tell her it was me. It led to, I don't think we got in the biggest fight over it, but it was pretty bad. That's, I think, one of the most disgusting pranks. Do you have one?
To that level, no.
Ooh, we got some. I feel like they blowing leaves at your house.
Give me just 1 second. Hold
No,
on.
you're good. You're good. Construction?
No, it's just this guy with this blower just going up and down, looking like he has no idea what he's doing and screaming in Spanish.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's generally what happens here during the day when everybody's working except me. But you were asking me about if I've done any pranks. I've done some pretty horrible shit before. I had this is when I was younger. I had one kid that used to bully me, especially when we were playing sports. He used to particularly like choose me last. I must have been like maybe 10 or 9, and I one day just got really pissed off and I was like, "Here, come here." He's like, "What?" And I decked him 3 times.
I'll consider it.
Well, the thing was is I told him to like come here. I was gonna give him something, cuz like he
You
used
had a
to,
manila envelope in your hand.
I was like, "Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm going to show you something." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "I'm going to show you." And then I just decked him.
How'd you feel, dude?
To this day I don't regret it. I feel awesome.
Oh yeah. I wonder where he is right now.
He makes about 3 times the amount of money I make. He's married, owns his own property. Yeah,
I
he's
think he's due for another prank.
Oh my god, bro.
Invite him. Could you imagine you invite him
No.
over for a dinner, like a
Oh my
really nice
god.
catch up dinner? It's
I
like years later. And your whole night, you're just like giving your most genuine
Do you
self. You like
understand that like I haven't
the
seen
family
this
is
person in
there.
like 15 years? Do you
Yes, this is
understand?
exactly why you need to do it. You invite
Oh
the
my
whole
god.
family. It's like a sit down dinner. You've like cooked chicken all day in the oven with like your mom's like dressing recipe. She's there. She's stoned, enjoying her life. Like the conversation is amazing. You wait till dessert and you say, "Hey, can you come here to help me with dessert?" You deck them. You deck them again. You just keep this. You keep this lifetime prank going. If you don't do this, we're no longer talking. I've put an ultimatum.
I start to question the ideas and issues that would happen if you were at the same event. Can you imagine if like we arrived at the exact same event and like we just looked at each other and we're just like, dun dun dun. Like this the theme song comes on and it's like bah. It would not be good for the event at all.
Oh
But it
yeah,
would
no,
be
I'm
good for
showing up.
us.
Oh yeah, no, 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 no. I'm for at this point forever haunting you like the Kermit meme where he's in like the Gregorian chant monk robe and it's like the shadows and it's like you know what you have to do.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
No, you don't have to deck him. At least not in front of his family.
You
Like,
can take him for me.
that wouldn't be the same. I'll sleep with him to like get back at it from you. How about that?
Whoa, hey, wife's watching or
Too
no?
far, too far. What
Is
was
the wife
that?
watching? Is the wife watching?
Oh yeah. But here's the thing. This is her fantasy.
Oh,
She
okay.
her whole life she's wanted her husband to get decked and fucked. Like,
I see. That's like how she gets a real orgasm, you know? Because
I'm learning a lot. I've had some conversations recently with my girlies. Like, girlies want a gay. Girlies really want a gay.
you know it's kind of true because I've kind of noticed this even with my best friend, which a she's a beautiful, talented, wonderful woman. Her name's Carissa. We think differently. Like, I don't know. Nothing against like heterosexual males. It's just our because I guess like I talk with women. You know, I feel there's more sincerity. Like I'm actually like listening. There's a difference. I'm not gonna lie. There is a difference between heterosexual and homosexual males. Maybe we're a little better.
Do you call your like is it girlies? Is it girls? Is it like icon? Lately I'm into diva, but not all the girls know yet. That's a good thing. I've called some
I
girls diva and they are offended. I'm like, diva. Diva's good. Diva's good. If you're out there and you're a girl and you get called a diva from a gay, take it as a compliment. I'm setting you up for success.
mm-hmm. True. I follow the. I got this from Freddie Mercury. I call everybody honey, sweetie, darling. So I
Oh,
call
that's so sweet.
yeah. So I'm like honey, darling, fabulous. So it's weird. I dress like a schlump to work, you know, and I got this like big 90s jean pants with Converse, you know, and like t-shirt. And I'm just like, what's up, honey? You know, sweetie, come here, you know, darling, what's, you know,
You've been watching a lot of I Love Lucy, and I love that for you.
since I was a kid. Since I was a kid, yeah.
Checks out.
Dark times. Good dark times. Good dark times.
Vita Vita Benjamin. Is that what it was?
Vita Vita Watermelon.
Dude, this has been so fun. I say yes to any kind of podcast because I love meeting people. Not always are you like just instantly like this is a good episode. At least for me, let me tell you. I'm
I
having the time of my
mean,
life over here.
it I will say it was in the making. You know, it took a while for us to be able to make this, and I think like there's a lot of things we learned, you know, in the past hour. There's a lot of
Yeah, do we
in
have a
depth.
recap moment?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm having a recap moment. Actually, I wanted to share something with you.
I feel so bad, by the way. I've not talked really music at all. I don't know if that was the point.
No, it's fine. We could talk about music if you want to.
Oh my, well, this is a perfect segue, dude. Pulling out the vinyl. And you see the
Mm-hmm.
face tattoos that I most likely drew on your photo? I hope I
Yeah,
did.
and I also saved all the little butterflies.
Oh my god.
See? Yeah, the glare.
That's if you have an original photo with the little sad boy tattoo that I draw on my face, that's how you truly know it's a stick on.
I I have been I've been I've been listening to your music and career probably for like the past 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
No way. That's so wild.
Yeah, I think it was like 2021 that I discovered your music. Yeah.
Oh, the blue.
Oh my god.
I love vinyls. And right, actually in a couple weeks I had to design the vinyl myself. I didn't really have anyone to help
Yeah,
with.
I remember this one has plastic for you know.
Yeah, is that your favorite track? That's so funny. I'm finding so the track that I just dropped yesterday, James Dean, feels like Plastic Ferrari's more mysterious, brooding older cousin. And it's yeah, these kind of songs have a bit I don't know if I would call it camp, but they're definitely like they have that same magic of Disney where I feel like I'm investing in that kind of anthem vibe. Yeah, I really live for Plastic Ferrari. I hope that song is blasting while you run over your ex's mailbox accidentally on purpose.
I know this may seem a bit strong and a bit arrogant, but in a way, it's kind of like getting, for me, a better version of like Sean Mendes, Harry Styles, and can't think of that other fucker. But especially like in the pop industry, especially with musicians and artists, it's like even in the past 15 years, there was like this big wave in the early 2000 like 2010s, and then everything kind of just died down. And it's just a lot of it's very much the same. Yeah, it's different artists, but you, on the other hand, I don't know. I'm getting like early 2000s, and then I'm getting like 2010s, and then I'm getting like a little bit of this genre, and then I'm getting a little bit of that genre, and I'm getting a little bit of this. And you get all of those elements, and everything kind of just comes together. And yeah, there is uniqueness in pop art, but it doesn't exist anymore because we've all gotten used to this fucking insane stream of like, I want the same sound. I want the same sound. So everybody just has the same fucking sound over and over and over and over and over. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's tough to compete with. I'll also say
I'm sick of
I
it.
I wonder if part of like I've had definitely my fair share of success, but I also am not at like a crazy level. By no
You're going to get
means.
there, bro.
I hope so, but I also wonder too, like I've not necessarily stuck in the same genre. I feel like you said, like I feel like I'm kind of there's a producer side to me. I think that's like the other half is like I'm producing all my own music. So unfortunately, I also am like all over the place with sounds and then want to jump on everything. I mean, this upcoming EP is like similar to Sad Magic, and it has tracks that are like those 80s dream pop stuff, but then I'm throwing like pop punk your way, and then like the next song is like really grunge, and then the lead single on this album is Gregorian chant meets like Lady Gaga dance music. So I don't feel like I'm doing myself any favors by sticking with the same thing, but at the same time, I can't really I have 100%, I feel like from the beginning of doing this, like never really listened to sticking with one thing or necessarily what people want, I guess. Not necessarily fans. I'm really open to hearing what people and homies have to say, but more like what industry is saying like to do. Um, I just I've always had a hard time taking like authority and
Yeah, I mean, like there used to be a time where in the pop industry you had Prince and Michael Jackson, you know, and has anybody ever listened to any of Prince's albums? The guy jumps from genre, from track to track, and that the same thing with Michael Jackson. I mean, hello, have you listened to his albums? Like Bad? Oh my God, it's did the guy like just live 50 years and turn into another person? So
mm,
it get like, I'm not saying that's a secret sauce, but you said that you're a producer and you're an artist and you're a singer and you're bringing all of these pieces. How are you presenting yourself as an artist? Are you saying, well, I'm making, pop music, or are you saying that I'm making my music through my creation, through my process, because it's yours. It
I
shows
mean,
it shows an individuality to it.
I'm so glad that comes across. It's not great for Spotify. I will say, like,
Oh
you're
no.
supposed to pitch the song like 4 weeks in advance, and you need to choose your genres. You get 3, which I don't think is very fair. And you can change them, but the more you change them, the less you're really like feeding the algorithm beast, which is I find really frustrating because I'd never really know then what to do. Because yeah, my this track is very like 80s synthwave, and my last one was like electro, like German Porsche commercial music. I don't even know. So I really appreciate that because I think it does resonate regardless. But yeah, it's been interesting. Like especially kind of going back to the very beginning when we talked about like extrovert and introvert. And I know as an artist, I think that is a place for me to be an extrovert, but the whole creative and making everything is happening in a very isolating place. And I think for a long time, like even last year, just going through this EP, it was really powerful to kind of I feel like I was in a place of doubt where I was asking a lot of people, what this or this or this. And I stopped kind of understanding like my own compass. And then I think very recently, just with this latest EP that's kind of coming out, for the first time in a long time, have been feeling like I'm gonna just commit to myself, even if it's wrong. Because that's I think the hardest part for me is just the doubt, especially when given two options. I mean, that can literally happen as like simple as should I post this Instagram pic or this Instagram pic? But then on like a much bigger scale, like what's the album art gonna be? Like what am I like what tracks are on this thing? And
Yeah. It
it's
becomes
definitely tough.
it's intimidating because I can say like I sometimes have like no desire to make any post. It's like, why am I doing this? I know what I'm doing. I know who I'm talking with. Why do I have to prove anything else? Why do I have
Mm,
to, you know, why do you have to prove yourself anything more than what you're making? You make fantastic music. You as a producer with your experience in your career, you know how to make sound. You know how to put videos together. It's like, why do I have to prove anything to you? Here's what I can do. Allow it to do what it's supposed to do. Why are you making this more complicated than it needs to be? And we know the answer because they're making the money, not
the
you.
limit does not exist. Yeah, no, I agree. And I appreciate all of that. I'm definitely in a place now where the more I keep letting go of my control, the more I feel better about just letting this all go into existence. And to be honest, I really don't know what's going to happen after this EP. Um, I'm kind of, I'm not at a plateau, but I'm also at a point where I can only feel like I can accomplish so much without like management or a team. And I'm like kind of like, people are very normally surprised that I don't have one. And I am too. I'm like, dude, like it's kind of exhausting. So I don't know if I'm gonna have like my Lana Del Rey moment where I'm like, I'm done after this album. But as for right now, I'm feeling like this EP is gonna be, I feel like a completion of how I have done things in the past. As far as like over controlling everything of what happens. I think I'm in a stage of my life where I'm about to just release stuff much more frequently with a lot less maybe overhanded perfection. And I'm curious like what that might look like. I know for like this track, James Dean, it was really fast. Like I took that album art like in the driveway on an iPhone really fast on my boyfriend's car. Like I didn't really over edit it. I just snapped it. And then like same for the mixing stages. I just got to a point where I'm like, I'm just so over trying to control all of this. And it was really refreshing because I just normally take so much longer with these things. And I think that's then what sets up the harsh expectation as an artist is like you put so much time into all of this that it's really hard for it to live up to its the you know that
The hype.
the hype you want it. And I get it. Like I think there's some level of like sacredness that this music is. It's like it's my tribal face tattoo. It's like I have I foresee myself as this vessel for something so cool. And I almost was feeling for a while shame that I couldn't live up to the potential that I thought this deserved. I felt like I'm not the right artist to carry this music further. And that was really weighing down on me for a long time. And it's something that when I talk about it with other artists, it's like the exact same mentality. So I, I think it's something, yeah, it's definitely like one of those curses of being an artist.
Patience. It's
Mm,
it's one of the most difficult things to accept. It's like crossing the desert. You don't know when you're going to get to the other side. Could be days, months,
40
years,
years. Yeah.
but you're willing to take that journey. And I again, I feel like the reason why it's willing, it's not just for an audience or for a career, but it's for ourselves, something that we can make, and be proud of, and something that is literally a piece of us that we're giving out to the world bit by bit.
Mm, beautiful. Well said. Thank you so much.
Mhm. Question for you. So, where can these wonderful people find your music? And of course, for example, like apparel, and if they want to reach out
Yeah. Okay.
and all that
So I
jazz.
tend to always talk about Spotify, but my music's up there. Like if you're an Amazon freak, if you have a kink for Pandora, I mean, just if you search Gregory Dillon, Dillon, you're gonna come across it. And definitely, I mean, we shouted out Plastic Ferrari. That's definitely a fun one. Check out anything under the Sad Magic album or this new stuff. James Dean just dropped today. Um, and as far as what was the second part?
You
Um,
had wait. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. You had a song. It was a psychedelic. It's almost like
LSD.
I think so. Was it LSD?
I have a song called LSD. Yeah.
Oh my god! It was like with the yellow. It was very trippy, but it was really fun.
Oh, dude, that's so great that you brought that one up. I mean, that was actually written inspired by my dad, who was arrested streaking through Central Park on LSD, and so I wrote that for his birthday. And that's a good one too, dude. If you're doing something like that, listen to LSD.
Hey.
I, funny enough, just dropped my first merch line, which you can find on Spotify and Bandcamp. And the cool thing about it is I'm really into fashion. And I made these flamer hoodies. They're very minimalistic, but half of the proceeds are going to the California Center, which is a queer youth center helping with homelessness. And so it was really cool to kind of like, I just launched those a couple weeks ago. And so it's just nice to have like fashion that supports like a cool statement. And so if you're interested in some merch, go check out those hoodies. And then what was the last part? We said like socials or where to find me in merch and
Yeah, all that jazz.
all that
Where
jazz.
where can you find the Dylan?
The Dylan is lurking in a Gregorian robe in your kitchen, waiting for you to punch that friend from 40 years ago. Yeah,
Sorry.
dude. I mean, I'm so excited. I know, knowing that you've been, following this journey. I'm really excited for you to, give me more feedback as this upcoming album happens. I mean, we're at the halfway point now with James Dean, and there's more to come.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited to, keep meeting more homies. I feel like that's honestly my favorite part of my day is when I'm on the elliptical and I'm just checking DMs and getting a quick moment to talk with people.
For
So
sure.
I'm there. I'm still small enough where I can try to answer DMs and if you come to a live show, like you're definitely going to be able to hang out with me in the back after. Like that is, I think, something I try to cherish. Like that, I'm at that stage still where I can do those things.
Mm-hmm. It's important. What's your handle again on your socials?
Yeah, it's for Instagram. I am Gregory Dillon, and then TikTok. It's just like I'm I am Gregory Dillon. So
Okay.
yeah, go
Ok-
check it out. I feel like I'm trying to be more unhinged on TikTok.
eh,
Well, we're getting there. Instagram
Okay.
is much more aesthetic. I feel like that's where my love for like cinematography comes out. But if you want to see a little kooky, crazy, silly, unhinged, go to TikTok.
Okay. All right. Fun, fun, fun. But you're definitely right. I mean, there's something like being able to connect to your audience that way that's it's really special, and being able to talk with you. I mean, an hour. Damn. I
I
feel
know, right?
like
I
my
looked up
whole core has been like split open. It's like, wow.
It was so funny because I didn't look at the time except for one moment, and it was 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds, and I was like, that's sounds
That's
about right.
yeah. There you go. That's beautiful. Should put that up with all the digits. But
Also, we
also,
have to get a quick pick too.
okay, sure. All right, I gotta look cute.
Or maybe should we do a little video? We'll both on the count of three, we'll both say our favorite Pokemon, okay?
Oh, okay.
That's a little tough, right? Because you can't just choose one.
No, I have one.
You have one? Okay.
Mhm.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bulbasaur. Wait, you didn't say
Charmeleon.
yours. Oh, Joe, you were waiting.
Yes. You want to do it again? I don't mind. Let's do it again.
We need, well, you know what? I just realized there's no sound coming because I'm on headphones. So there's like, I'll have to just.
Okay.
We're just gonna be silly, goofy. Act
Nah.
ready? Perfect. That was
Okay.
good.
All right. Perfect. Awesome. Well, Gregory, this has been a pleasure. Definitely, if you want to get lost, like Lost in the Groove, you should definitely listen to his tunes when you're in the subway or in your car waiting in traffic and you hate your life. And if you hate your life even more, you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Lost in the Groove Pod. So with that, catch you on the next one. All right. How do I